February sucks. They could have evened it out. I did some research on this. Nobody liked February. There were different kings. King Augustus, Caesar, different Caesars came along when they were doing the Gregorian calendar. And someone would throw it out completely and just say, let the seasons be off. I hate February. So sometimes it was 24 days. Sometimes they'd leave it out altogether. And I realized, because see, right now in our modern culture, we can take a couple of days off of a 31 month and even them all out. But no, because nobody likes February. Because it's dark and gloomy and it's just blah. It's like, it's like January relieved itself. It's like... And so we get stagnant. We have our new year, and we get on our visions ready, and we get on our plans, and then February hits. Yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh. And so we start looking at these gray, I don't know how many of you were affected by it. We had like 10 days of no sunshine.
Yes.
Where am I? Washington State?
Yes.
Next thing. Okay, the sun hasn't been shining for weeks. It's a new year, and in some ways it's exactly the same. Maybe you didn't win the coveted chili or cookie challenge and you're a tad bitter. Come on! We're all have a tendency to mirror our surroundings. And can at times let the gray get inside. When this occurs, we must capture our thoughts, bring them into captivity in obedience to the word, then launch a new atmosphere and let the new day dawn. Can I have an amen? Next page, here we go. 2 Corinthians. Yeah, I've got these really cool backgrounds, okay? Now, don't you see the black, you're going to see the beach where I want to be. 2 Corinthians 10, 3-5 says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds. Why do they call them strongholds? Because they're strong. It's like they don't just budge or get their feelings hurt and leave. They're going to hang on because somewhere down the line, you gave them permission to be there. Casting down arguments. What's an argument? So like I've been telling you, Pastor Junior said, those voices in your head that try to pull you away from your covenant, pull you away from your real identity in Christ. You know what? I don't care what you look like, what you even act like. You got to find out who you are in Christ between the covers of that book, because where it says in whom or in him, that's you he's talking about. Yeah. We did a study 10 years ago, 150 things that happened the minute you were born again. The minute you were born again, 150 things became true about you that you may yet have discovered. Yeah. Casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. What could be a high thing? An X-ray. Right. A pink slip. Right. Some sort of scandal, some sort of thing, persecution. All these things will come up here and they'll start talking to you and they'll start barking at you. Why did they send Goliath down in the valley? Because Richard Simmons wouldn't have scared anybody. Gonna get you guys. I'm gonna get trouble. They sent this guy that's 9 feet 9 inches tall down in the valley because he wanted you to think that everybody behind me is 9 feet 9 inches tall, but they weren't. And so they sent the big thing down to scoff at it. And he sat down there for 40 days mocking Israel, mocking the God of Abraham. And here's this 14-year-old kid comes showing up with a bunch of cheeses. I never figured that one out. I guess he went stop by the mall, Pepperidge Farm or something. I don't know. We'll throw these big blocks of cheese at Goliath, and that surely will melt him. And so the 14-year-old kid looked down there and he said, "Hey, I'm young, but I'll tell you one thing. I've been watching my sheep at night, and a bear and a lion tried to attack, and the God that saved me from the bear and the God that saved me from the lion can surely whip this guy." And so somewhere in your mind, you just got to mount an attack. Here's what the Lord was speaking to me about. He said, "Look here, you're too old for this. Some of you, you're too old, because when we sit and have our little pity party, and we sit there and start denying what he said about us, because we're going by our feelings, that's what's carnal and fleshly. Okay. If I let my feelings dictate who I am, then I'm going to sink to a lower understanding. And I don't care if you've done everything wrong. Suck it up, get back up on the horse, and get after what God has put you here to do. Yes. Bringing every thought into captivity. Every teenage girl, when my kids were coming through school, had a copy, at least one copy of the Notebook. And when they were feeling melancholy and sad, they'd put that in and they'd sit there. Because sometimes your flesh feels like it needs to feel sorry for itself. And you know what? There's a moment for that. But I want you to understand that if you camp out there, you're wasting your time. Because God's not interested in you feeling sorry for yourself. He's interested in you brushing off your britches, pulling your boots up, and getting back at it. That's why he said, if you'll confess your sin, he's faithful and just to forgive you your sin. He didn't say if you confess your sin after a period of time when I'm satisfied. No, he said he's already satisfied. In Isaiah, when he looked down at the blood of his son, that satisfied his requirement for sin. Yeah. Not you feeling sorry for yourself. Every professional athlete, I've been talking to Stephen about this, and this is one of the things they coach into them. They cannot camp out around the last mistake, or they'll be done, because then they'll be in the middle of the next inning of the next play, and they'll be still thinking about what they did wrong. You got to get rid of that stuff and move on and let it go. If you struck out, if you missed the tag, if you missed the tackle, you dropped the pass, whatever it is, you got to get past that, because there's another one coming. That touch you never said there's another one coming. You got to quit feeling sorry for yourself. You got to get back in the game. You got to look at this thing and say, okay, I messed up, I screwed up. Forget it. I'm under the blood. I'm going on. I'm a new creation. Yeah. Next page. True. No, stop. Go back. I've never read this part. Because this is verse number 6. We're going to stop at number 5. Because number 6 talks about something that we got to do. No, let's don't do that. And being ready to punish all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. See, God is, look at me. God don't want you to just survive. God's not after you just glancing blows and getting back. He wants us, once we get our stuff together, to go after the one that sent it and do some damage to him. Amen. Not to just sit there taking stuff, but put on. What do you think armor's for? Dodgeball? No, it's for going out in the Lord. And inflicting pain and inflicting some damage to the enemy. How would you like to mess him up like he's trying to mess you up? Amen. Well, that's what he's saying here. Next page. Anybody with me? Listen, I was out on Fort Morgan one time, and dolphins were putting on a show. Wild dolphins or porpoises, I don't know which one was. They were way out, and they were doing flips. Wow. And I'm like going, what? Where are they learning this? Did they just escape from SeaWorld and they're just happy? Or I'm just saying, man, they were just doing this show, and I thought, man, those things are majestic. Proverbs 23:7 says, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. I don't care how much Bible you've memorized. I don't care if you've been to seminary. I don't care if you've got a degree or a doctorate in theology. It's irrelevant, because it's not what you know, it's what you believe. And what you're thinking is true. It's what's true, whether it's true or not. I'll say that again. Whatever you think is true whether it's really true or not. Yes. Next page. Isn't that pretty? Yeah. Proverbs 23:7 says, not Proverbs 23:7, it's Numbers 13. I forgot to write it down. Numbers 13, they sent the spies into the promised land. And God had told them there's going to be giants there, and there's going to be walled cities, but it's going to be a land that flows with milk and honey, and I have given it to you. Now, don't you know, how many of you know there are promises in the Word of God that are already yours, John? They're yours. But you know what? That doesn't mean that they're going to come roll over and lay in your lap. It means they're yours, and you've got to go into that country and go and take possession of what belongs to you. You've got to go in there, and it's like this. Some of you have had the worst upbringing. You're raised by wolves and hit with a hammer every day of your life. Well, I'm just telling you what, you can keep on remembering that and going with that, or you can decide, you know what, that was then, but that's not the way I'm going to finish my life. I've been promised a good, good Father, and I'm going to go get to know Him, because He's got blessings. He's got redemption. He's got promotion in His hand. Yes. It's not how you drive, it's how you ride. And so when they sent those in as spies, and this was not God's idea, but Joshua led them. They sent in some spies, and when they came back, only Joshua and Caleb said, look here, I saw that too, but let us go in and possess it at once. But the rest of them said this, we saw the giants, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight. See, if you already see yourself as a grasshopper, it don't matter how big or whatever you are. It's already in your mind. I'm little and helpless and weak and can't do anything about this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I don't care where you are in life. If you'll decide to put a beeline to the kingdom, you'll get out of this mess you're in, and you'll fulfill your destiny in Jesus. Because we saw ourselves as grasshoppers, so we were on their side. We automatically assumed they were. You know what? One time, my first football game as a senior, we were playing a team we'd never heard of before. It was down in a coal mine in town, and it's Dora, Alabama. And she kept looking around, and no, she didn't. And so the last week of practice, the coach got in the huddle with us. He was mad at us because we were evidently not doing enough plays. We'd start at 2, and we'd go to dark every day. And we were so thankful when the time changed. But so he got in the huddle. He said, "Man, I done messed y'all up." Because he said, "I sent some of the guys down there to scout outdoor," and he said, "Boy, they're so good, and I shouldn't have scheduled them." And that just made me mad. And so, buddy, we had a little thing back there. We made a decision that when we on game day, and years before we had done it, we put on the same shirt and pants. Kind of looked like somebody. We got on that bus, and when we got off that bus, went and got dressed and came out on that field, and we beat the dog in the door. And at the end of the game, one of the players came up to me and said, "Man, when we saw y'all get off that bus, we thought they looked like Alabama." Oh. Because we wanted to look like Alabama or Auburn. We wanted to look like we were a machine. We wanted to inspire in them a little fear. And I want you to understand, if you don't quit dragging your toe and stomping around live and acting like you're a failure and acting like you're beat up all the time, and pull your shoulders back, put your nose in the wind, tell the devil, "You can't hurt me anymore." You know what? He's going to start thinking you come from heaven, and he's going to start getting scared of you. Yeah. He'll think you're from Alabama. It's like this. And the reason I use sports metaphors is because the Bible uses sports metaphors, and there's a lot to it. When I line up across from that guy and I whip his butt on the first play of the game, he thinks this is how it's going to be the rest of the night. Yeah. And it is. Next page. Number 1, catch your head. Some of you got to catch your head. If you got to cut it off spiritually, just quit thinking. Quit saying crap. You're creating probably the misery you're living in is because it's vomiting out of your mouth. You're just saying everything you thought that pops in your head. You can't do that. You just can't, because what you're doing is you're building stuff you've got to tear down to get to the joy you're after. So just shut up. Touch your neighbor, reply and smile and say, "Shut up. Shut your pie hole. Shut your more hole." Next page. Psalm 119 and 130 says, "The entrance of your words gives light. It gives understanding to the simple." Psalm 119, 105 says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." I wonder how that works. If the word coming in creates light, the word going out creates light. If you want something to show you where you're going, speak what God says about you. If you want some light in a dark place, quit agreeing with the darkness and shine your light. Next page. That's home right there, man. I think I'm aquatic. I check for gills all the time. Mark 11. What if things aren't going the way you want them to? I know that's a shock, but we live in a world where there's a devil trying to kill us. There's it's a fallen world that's filled with sin. Why did that guy shoot those kids? Because we have a sin problem, not a gun problem. Right. We've got a spirit camped out over America now that we've invited in here. Right. Yeah. And we've got to pull that stronghold down. The church has got to get on her face and do our job. We don't need to control the guns. We need to control the heart that doesn't care. So Jesus went into Jerusalem. So the next day when they came out of Bethany, he was hungry. Seeing afar a fig tree having leaves, he went to see if perhaps he would find something on it. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. Then he said something ridiculous and absolutely crazy that should get you put it in the nut house. Then Jesus went over and talked to the fig tree. And he said literally that he answered the fig tree. Well, you hearing the tree talk to you, are you, Jesus? You bet those things talk to you. Don't they talk to you? Ain't there stuff in your life talking to you right now? Ain't that broken down car talking to you? Ain't those bills talking to you? Are those memories from your past and high school talking to you? There's inanimate objects in your life that are talking to you. Sometimes you got to talk back. That's right. You can't just sit there and look at it and take it. Talk back. Right. Matt Hill told me one time he didn't have me money. And he looked down at his gas gauge. It was on E all the time. He said he took a piece of paper and put it over because it was talking to him. Yep. I watched that movie with Tom Hanks, Castaway. He talking to a volleyball. I get it. Y'all may think that's crazy, but I'm going to tell you, some of you, listen to me. The key, we're going to do something in this service, and it's going to be a key whether you stay where you're at or where you get out. Because you've got to decide to do something, utter something, put forth some energy in a direction that you believe what I'm telling you tonight. Today, next page. Romans 8:31 says, what then shall we think to these things? What then shall we believe to these things? What are we supposed to do when trouble comes, when bad things align themselves? Or we sit there and murmur and complain or talk bad about the people that are being blessed instead of me? Or what are we supposed to do? No, you're supposed to get your feet planted. And what shall we say to these things? You need to say, if God is for me, who can be against me? Not anything on this earth has dominion and power over me. I'm God's favorite. I didn't tell you a while ago. God actually told me in the gym. He said, you're awesome. And I agreed with him. Is that being cocky? I didn't say it. He said it. You take it over God. Because I needed to hear him say it also. You know, y'all think that the pastors, people in these positions, we're just showered with compliments.
Right. Come on.
No, I get everything bad. Right. Before you even know about it, I hear every bit of it. And the devil says it's your fault. So he needed to tell me I was awesome, and I received it. What do you need to hear today? He's wanting to say it. Right. He's already said it. You're just not listening. Next page. Say what you want. Any moron can say what they have.
Come on. That's so good.
That takes no effort at all. To say I'm sick, or I'm poor, or I'm a failure. Well, whoop-de-doo, we all know. Where do you want to be a year from now? In the same place, just gathering sympathy because you've had it rough? Well, you know what? There's people who had it way rougher than us. There's people right now, it's like that couple that had that child, Jackson, that was just fighting for his life. How'd you like to trade places with them for Christmas and New Year's and all? How'd you like to go through with them? And every doctor on the planet was already fitting that boy for a toe tag. I want you to know they sent out a video out the other day that he's dancing around and walking like that. Come on! I like having victories, but I'm going to tell you something. If you ever have to walk through a battle like that, it changes you. Yes. Say it with me. Say what you want. What do you want? I got in touch with my niece, and I just sent her a congratulatory message about a job she's going for. She said, well, it didn't work out. And I said, okay, go to Habakkuk 2 with me. Write down, I made her read the Bible there. Write the vision down. You know what she sent me back in 30 seconds? She wrote out a vision. Took a picture of it and sent it to me. I said, okay, write that scripture underneath it. Go with me to Matthew, where it says, if two agree as touching, it shall be done. And you know what? Guess what? Got a text yesterday. She got the job. Funny thing, it worked. Yes. Next page. Let's get Kevin down there going and sleeping on the beach. Illegally. Sorry. You didn't know. You got to tell them, right? I'm just going to be putting up signs and stuff. Leave nothing but footprints. You didn't leave nothing. Psalm 35:27 says, let them think about shouting for joy. Let them say the word shout. Let them do a dissertation on what shouting is. No, you know what he said? Shout! I used to do martial arts, and they told us when you're going to strike somebody to shout. Does a lot of things for you. Number one, it frightens your opponent. Ah! You know, it just makes it think, this guy's nuts. But it also tightens your abdomen. It gets you in a position where if you are attacked, you're already ready. It also, it's just something about it. It's like this, when we were going through, when Taylor was born, before she was born, we went through this prenatal class. And they showed us the birth of a 13-pound baby without any anesthetic. And I was like, this is not what I wanted to see. not want to see that. That's not right. And all I could say for several months was, honey, I'm sorry. But we went through this deal where they did the breathing exercises. And where they'd say, while we're doing this breathing and we're counting, I'm squeezing on her thigh with increased pressure. And then afterwards, when we didn't do the counting, then I did the same thing, and she couldn't handle the pain because the counting distracted her from the pain. And when you shout, your mind is not on what's wrong with you. Your mind is in releasing something. And I'm telling you that there's something about shouting, or else, why would he told the nation of Israel when they were going into Jericho to shout?
Yes. Right.
And you know what I do. It's like I've never been to a football game where people go, "Wow, that was a great play." Oh, we went up one. Can I have some more peanuts? No, that's not how it is. People shout, okay, when that dude caught that last pass, Travis, you sit and go, wow, that's a pretty pass. I see Travis go, yeah, that was really good. What's on Netflix? I don't think so. I bet Travis was running around the room like I was. Oh! What just happened? Because something in me had to get out. Am I right? Well, you're naturally that way. Why don't you be supernaturally that way? Why don't you understand God made this way? If you get where you can shout a little bit, it might stir up something in you to say, you know what? I ain't taking this no more. I'm not going to lay over anymore. You may have had my whole life to beat me up and roll me over for dead, but I'm rolling over again, and I'm standing back up, and it ain't going to work again. Let them say continually. What should I say when I pray? How about this? Let the Lord be magnified. Oh, Lord, I increase you. Won't you just say what he said? Let the Lord be magnified. Watch this. Who has pleasure in the prosperity of his servants. Question. How many of you have children that you just love to take a hot coat hanger and brand them at times? Just, watch this one. You like that? How many of you like to starve them and make them beg for food? Let me say this. This is a really bad story. I told so many times, but I can't believe it. We're new parents. Tyler's just beautiful, little Cindy Lou Who off of Grinch. Big old blue eyes. And she's barely walking, and she's trying to tell us something. What, honey? What, honey? Yes, you're so sweet. She disappears, and she comes back from the kitchen dragging her loaf of bread. Hungry. Headlines read, toddler has to develop language skills to keep from starving to death.
Hungry.
But other than that episode, we've tried to anticipate what our kids need, what our kids want. Why? Because we love them. Amen. Don't you love your kids? Well, if you have kids, do you take any delight, even if they've been bad, in watching them suffer, even the consequence of what they've done? Yeah. I grounded Madison from her phone for 10 minutes. We were going on a trip, and I found something I said, man. And we got in the car, and I looked back in the mirror, and I saw those big brown eyes just looking at me, and I said, here. You've learned your lesson. You've suffered enough. Do you think God likes seeing you suffer in any way? Do you think he wants you driving some clunker or living with something that's got rats in it? Or what? I mean, it's kind of like there's people that take a vow of poverty and thinking, what? How about take a vow of being a millionaire and then give me half of it if you want to be poor? If you want to be poor, give it to me. Say this with me. God wants me to prosper. He wants me to be in health. Even as my soul prospers. Next page. And the seventh time it happened, when the priest blew the trumpet, that Joshua said to the people, shout, for the Lord has given you the city. At the time that he said that, The wall was still up.
Yeah.
To the natural eye, everything looked just as it was before. You know, Jericho was cocky about their little wall. You know that? The wall was wide enough. It was probably as wide as this building. Because they had chariot races on the top of it. They thought they were impregnable. They thought nobody could ever topple us. And it said the children of Israel marched around once a day for a week. And on the last day, God says, when you march around this time, I want you to shout. Why? Why are we shouting? Because I've already got the city. Wait a minute, my eyes had said, tell me the wall's still standing. I just don't know if I believe it. Yeah. Well, you know what? That's your problem. You got to see something to believe something. God said, if you'll believe me now when you can't see it, you'll be able to see it in a little bit. And it says when they shouted, it says, with a great shout. Not a, hey. I'll let the guys next to me carry the load and I'll just phone it in. He doesn't need everybody to shout. Listen to me. He needs you to shout. And if everybody takes this personally, then something's going to happen for the guy next to you. With a great shout that it fell down flat. And they told me, some people have been over there. My wife and I want to go to the Holy Land before it's over with. Amen. We'll probably go once at least. Like when Jesus comes to split the Mount of Olives. We'll be there then, honey. We may not get a t-shirt, but we'll see it. They say when you go over there and you see where Jericho was, it's not that the sound waves, Tim, caused some, vibration that broke the wall up. It's their obedience and their faith, because he said it looked like the earth opened up and the wall just slid down into the earth. That just so fires me up. Can you imagine being that soldier on the top of the wall going, ha 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 ha! Woo! Alabama got off that bus. That's what I'm saying. Let's go over the lights. I want to talk to you a minute. We're going to close this thing out. Come on, players. Let's get back up here. We're going to do one more song this morning. I'll send you home.